Now I invite the founder of Akhuwat in Pakistan, Dr. Muhammad Amjad Saqib, to make a statement from the lectern. Dr. Saqib, you have the floor.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. His Excellency Nabil Munir, Vice President, the Economic and Social Council, His Excellency Mr. Masood bin Momen, Her Excellency Ms. Amina Muhammad, Honorable Heads of State, respected ministers, policy makers, and dear audience, Assalamu alaikum and good morning. I must begin by thanking the Economic and Social Council for bringing together this microcosm of intellectual and political leaders of poverty reduction initiatives from across the world. Speaking here is indeed a great privilege, although anyone in my position can find the aggregate genius in this hall a little overwhelming. Ladies and gentlemen, poverty has been in existence since time immemorial. Its pain, its poison, and its alleviation still remains the biggest challenge for the whole mankind. However, for addressing the issue of poverty, we must first understand its nature and scope. Traditionally, the extent of poverty has been quantified by monetary needs. In most developing countries, methods such as food, energy intake, and cost of basic needs have been used for identification of the poor. However, there has been an increasing recognition of the fact that the well-being of a population depends on a variety of variables, and not all these variables could be improved with a higher income or consumption. This is so because sometimes either markets don't exist, or if they do, they are highly imperfect. If per capita income in a neighborhood increases, but there are no schools, no hospitals, the education and health of its inhabitants will be in jeopardy. Therefore, income or consumption should be supplemented by other attributes in poverty measurement as well as response. The variables such as housing, life expectancy, provision of public goods, security, self-respect and dignity, and so on. An important question still remains: how can we reconcile with millions of children who are not able to go to schools and realize their potential? This welfare paradigm was championed by Pakistan's great economist Mahbubul Haq, who gave the vision for the Human Development Index. His old-time friend and Nobel laureate Amartya Sen's capability approach is also multi-dimensional in nature. Under this framework, poverty becomes a capability failure. People's lack of capability to enjoy the key beings and doings that are basic to human life. Here also echoes the voice of my mentor and a distinguished development professional of South Asia, Mr. Shoaib Sultan Khan, the founder of legendary Aga Khan Rural Support Program. What a great privilege that Mr. Khan is also sitting in the audience. This all, ladies and gentlemen, calls for an integrated approach, making eradication of poverty an integral part of all policies. After all, the poor need to be our first priority. Pakistan's Vision 2025 reaffirms this commitment and highlights the need to make the dream of economic growth inclusive and sustainable. Recently, Pakistan has launched its customized multi-dimensional poverty index, which has 3 dimensions: education, health, living standards, with 15 indicators. Thus, policy making in Pakistan is experiencing a change where there is increasing appreciation of the fact that to move towards poverty elimination, we need to identify vulnerabilities in various dimensions at the level of individuals as well as communities, and to customize solutions tailored to the needs of recipients. The government of Pakistan has also started to take a holistic view of the anti-poverty efforts. Newly constituted bodies such as Punjab Social Protection Authority, Benazir Income Support Program, and Pakistan Poverty Alleviation Fund are being strengthened to oversee all the scattered efforts for poverty reduction and bring them under one umbrella. Landmark initiatives like Prime Minister's Interest-Free Loan Scheme, Punjab Educational Endowment Fund, and health insurance schemes are also making their mark for productive inclusion. We are, ladies and gentlemen, aware of the need to move from universal subsidies to well-designed and targeted interventions. We are also giving up stereotype solutions and orthodoxy in favor of innovative approaches, technology, and vibrancy. And of course, one such innovative model based on participatory development approach is the Akhuwat model, which I have the privilege to be associated with as its founder, and which I would like to elaborate for wider dissemination and replication. Akhuwat was conceptualized 16 years ago when a personal loan of few $100s was given to a group of helpless young men and women who were without economic means to support their families. We did not expect them to repay the loan, but they did. That reflection of self-respect in their eyes made us revisit preconceived notions of poverty and poor in the society. Today, Akhuwat stands as the largest Islamic microfinance institution in the world. We have, alhamdulillah, disbursed more than 400 million US dollars as interest-free microcredit among 1.8 million families across Pakistan through a network of 700 branches and with an enviable recovery percentage of 99.9. With an average loan size of 200 US dollars, our borrowers engage in small size ventures and become more productive members of the economy. From a human development perspective, they can afford to send their children to school, provide them nutrition, immunization, and health care, and endeavor to lead a better quality life life that we all want to lead. We also provide them with social guidance, inspire them to plant trees, take care of environment, and follow holistic development approach. This is all about empowerment and self-reliance. Akhuwat strives to alleviate poverty by empowering marginalized families through harnessing their entrepreneurial potential. There are 5 key pillars of Akhuwat model. First, Akhuwat levies no interest on its loans in accordance with the tenets of Islam and all other faiths, recognizing that high interest rates contribute to exacerbating the plight of the poor, as recent global evidence has demonstrated. Second, Akhuwat operates through religious places, revitalizing their historical role in bonding communities. This use allows us to promote interfaith harmony, minimize operational costs, have extensive outreach, function efficiently, and with increased transparency and accountability. Third, Akhuwat fosters a spirit of volunteerism and mutual support in society. It believes that an ideal social enterprise employs a mix of volunteerism and necessary compensation. Fourth, Akhuwat encourages its borrowers to donate to Akhuwat and help others once they themselves have gained enough economic stability. This component evolved after one Akhuwat borrower insisted on contributing to Akhuwat so that the organization can continue to help others like him. The transformation of borrowers into donors is one indicator of the change Akhuwat had envisaged. If there is a vicious cycle, there is a need for virtuous cycle too. Fifth, no discrimination on the basis of caste, color, creed, faith, or gender. As we all believe, the discrimination is the most demeaning act and a crime against humanity. Ladies and gentlemen, Akhuwat's enviable recovery percentage reinforced our belief in the integrity exhibited by the poor when they are helped with trust and dignity. This marked the beginning of a new chapter in easy financial access, one that found its inspiration not in economic logic, but in the spirit of compassion and generosity of mankind. Now that the demand for Akhuwat's products has reached new heights, we have adopted a dual-track approach to growth, one that is not driven by the need to maximize our portfolio only, but it rather focuses on spreading the philosophy of solidarity with the poor to as many people as possible. After covering 400 cities in Pakistan, Akhuwat has registered itself in Africa. Very soon, it's going to open its offices in Uganda, Kenya, and Nigeria. Poverty, after all, needs to be fought throughout the width and breadth of the world, in Asia, in Africa, and in Latin America. Wherever it manifests more, wherever it hurts more. World, after all, is a global village, and we, after all, are one global family. But let me revert back to my original statement that poverty in its real meaning extends beyond just lack of financial resources. If we envision a poverty-free society based on the principles of compassion and equity, we have to extend a helping hand to the most marginalized and disadvantaged. We have to work on their social inclusion if they are to be uplifted from economic poverty, which is often intergenerational. People in poverty are generally not responsible for their own condition. There are structural factors at work, a realization still often missing at policy and implementation level. Ladies and gentlemen, a long-term sustainable solution to poverty requires a tool with an irreversible impact, and that tool is education. Aristotle says, education is ornament in prosperity and refuge in adversity. The young Nobel laureate from Pakistan, Malala Yousafzai, says, one child, one teacher, one book, and one pen can change the world. Indeed, Akhuwat's educational institutions are a testament to these ideas, as no-fee schools, colleges, and universities. These are based on the philosophy that if microcredit can be provided without interest, so can education be provided without cost. Akhuwat has inspired unwavering support of the public sector and common people as donors and as volunteers. After a decade of sheer commitment driven by passion and transparency, Akhuwat motivated the state to collaborate for a public-private partnership. Today, we work with the federal government in Pakistan and many state governments. And these are few largest public-private partnerships. Our mission is to eradicate poverty in all its forms. Ladies and gentlemen, for how long will the sons and daughters of humanity continue to suffer? For how long? For how long will the mothers see their children die because of hunger and preventable disease? We have to unite for an affirmative action if we want poverty to be a concept of the past. The purpose of sharing Akhuwat's story is to reiterate the need for a cross-cutting, integrated policy for poverty eradication. How can one deny that poverty demands inclusiveness and accountability, change in socio-cultural and political norms that govern power nexus at the national, regional, and global levels? In the end, I would like to express my gratitude to all of you for hearing me so patiently, and to the Economic and Social Council for providing me with the opportunity to express my views before so many illustrious leaders and agents of change. I hope, ladies and gentlemen, I hope the sun of year 2030 will shine on an earth where no one is shackled by poverty and where everyone is able to realize his or her potential. Let me recite the famous verse of our national poet, Muhammad Iqbal. He says, खोल आंख, जमीन देख, फलक देख, फजा देख, मशरक से निकलते हुए सूरज को जरा देख. The translation says, gaze the earth, the sky, the space. Gaze the new sun's rising grace. May Allah bless you all and guide us to build a world free of hunger, disease, war, and misery. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Saqib, for your inspiring words.